countdown has begun. It is a certain E.G. Axslav.
Yes! Sorry.
Are you showing bias?
No, why? What do you mean? No, you are. You're stupid.
Against FXO mOOnGLaDe. What?
Huh?
I think you're showing bias.
You are hearing things, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, just get into the game.
Well, Zerg is my favorite race.
You are ridiculous. It is FXO mOOnGLaDe in the right-hand corner. And EG's Axslav, the conqueror of worlds! The red Protoss player from heaven! And all things good.
Excuse me, sir. I think you're being slightly biased.
What?
I think you're being slightly
Retro,
biased.
can you focus, please?
Yes, sir.
Stop reading the boards. Anyways, FXO mOOnGLaDe looking like a purple booger, sitting in his base, doing nothing because he's just going to wait for the action to unfold around him. Meanwhile, Axslav building probes, now a pylon, seeming to take shape outside his ramp. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh my god, that's so smart. Ugh! Love the pylon placement right next to the geyser.
It's a pretty interesting pylon. I think it's indicative
It's
of
amazing.
some sort of fast expansion, probably.
Whatever. Whatever he does is great.
And look at this. mOOnGLaDe gearing up. Might be going in fast expansion, but Axslav will be able to scout it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, typically speaking on this map, again, that same thing we talked about beforehand. You either want to fast expand because it's a macro map, or you want to punish him because it's a macro map. And it looks like mOOnGLaDe gets that early detection, sees the probe kind of making its way already to the natural. If Axslav scouts him second or third, he gets the hatch first. I think that's what he was opting for, he being mOOnGLaDe. But seeing that the probe is already here, like a bad cousin at a family dinner, you just want to get things over with. So he's going to go ahead and make that spawning. That's actually the worst analogy I've said in a while.
Yeah, it's pretty
pretend
bad.
it didn't happen.
Now, I have a question for you. Why is it that mOOnGLaDe doesn't just go expand on 15? I mean, he has two places to expand, right?
Well, that's an excellent question. First and foremost, you don't want to take the alternative one because the creep spread to that base will take forever. And if there's any kind of foregate, you now have two separate places you have to defend off creep.
Yeah.
And that's not a good situation. That cancels out queens, that cancels out spine crawlers. It's essentially GG. Now, of course, if the Protoss is doing Nexus first or Forge first, you don't have that problem.
Yes.
But you're rolling the dice really hard. Because, I mean, the 3 gig expand, 1 gig expand, both of those can react fast enough to that and say, well, you're dead already. So mOOnGLaDe didn't have that information and is not going to take that risk. Now, he is opting for a metabolic speed upgrade, and he does have 4 lanes in production. So a lot of you are clicking over to Axslav's base going, his Forge's not even finished. Is he going to die? And we did this with Grubby versus Moon. It's really close. You got to get that cannon down right away. In fact, you want to throw down a pylon blocking the natural just to hope to buy yourself some time. He's not going to do it.
Nope.
He's
a chill.
Get over there, man. He's just a little bit late. And there he goes. Okay, now the Zerglings are going to play a little bit of a catch the mouse type of game. And that's all the time Axslav needed. I mean, it would have been tight. Would have been really close if the Zerglings would have gone straight to Axslav's base, but as is, he's totally fine. And the 1 cannon's more than enough to hold off. Just about
4 Zerglings?
I think it's 300 Zerglings 1 cannon can hold off.
Yeah, it's around there. Well, at least Axslav's cannons, right?
Yeah.
Axslav's
And mOOnGLaDe Zerglings.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So Evercore goes down immediately, and I love this cannon placement, the second cannon placement again. It will be quite safe.
Yes.
Quite safe. And, you know, it looks like Axslav is just gearing up, being very stable, getting his economy up. A little bit of a huge probe transfer, but very fast first assimilator, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the vision of mOOnGLaDe, he's quite aware of what's going on at that expansion. And one of the things Axslav has to be careful of, and time very carefully his production around, is that if there's any kind of roach pressure, these cannons behind the buildings don't do anything. Now, of course, we here as the not observers, but commentators can see this is in fact not what mOOnGLaDe's opting for, but it's important to note that the Protoss player has to play under that possible assumption to a certain degree, unless he's able to get information. And actually, mOOnGLaDe's done a great job of both hunting down and denying any information from those probes in the middle of the map. So Axslav in the dark here, and now left to counter just about everything. And that fast Stargate we see going down now is about the best response, because it holds off roaches, but also applies pressure on the Zerg.
Yeah, I really like this build. It does come at a great time to defend against any sort of, well, it sort of defends, but it defends against any like Zergling Roach all-in type build that we've seen Idra do on many occasions. And it also gives the ability to apply pressure if they're not doing that. So you can get that one Void Ray out and get those Phoenixes out and start applying a lot of pressure. We saw that done yesterday in a match. Now I can't even remember the players, but we saw that done yesterday.
TT1,
TT1, yes.
Dark Force.
DT1 Dark Force. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Got your back.
You got me. You got me.
You said, "Come at me, brah," and I did with some helpful information.
Yeah. That's why you're my blood brother.
Blood Brother 1.
Blood brother 2.
Now, he's actually just going to go straight Phoenix from here, and I've seen this variation as well. Essentially what it is it's saying, okay, I feel like the creep is so close in the naturals that going Void Ray would be mostly a lost cause.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll have a lot of utility here. Of course, that's debatable. There are other purposes for that Void Ray than shutting down the third. But the straight Phoenix has the option of really forcing a drastic response from the Zerg player. And right now he's a little bit out of place. No Evolution Chamber. Am I correct in saying that? Actually, double Roach Warren. That's a huge mistake. I gotta feel like that's a mistake.
Well, I've said this a couple times. I said people should start double Roach Warrening. Why? To get both upgrades at the same time.
Oh my god.
And I hope we see that.
He's
We
got
do
Burrow
see,
already.
yeah, we see Burrow going up. Let me see Glial and
it.
oh, Great
did.
Dwarf.
He planned
You
it
are
out.
you are so smart, Great Dwarf.
So
You
it
are
turns
so
out that
smart.
there is one Zerg in Australia who listened to your pleadings and has opted to put it to use. Kind of interesting. We don't have any drop tech. There is no entryway into Axslav's base. Essentially, what he's hoping to hit here is that time between the observer and any kind of detection coverage. So it is only the one photon cannon at the front of this base. The second one is further back. Can't really consider that a detecting photon cannon. So if he can get enough out, meanwhile Phoenix are harassing that mineral line. Going after the drones, I like that choice. Queen throwing stones at it. Shoo! Away with you, Phoenixes! Away! They're not really listening.
They talk like that. No, they're actually running away.
These are like
we don't wanna
street
try.
rats.
We don't want. I don't buy that.
Riff rafts.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, it goes Rift Rat. All right, I'm not.
Street rat.
I don't.
We can't break into song.
Buy that.
That's the one place we haven't gone just yet. There are still people who like us as commentators. We have to respect their wishes.
Look
Creator doesn't care.
closer. Dude, I have a childhood, man. I had such a good
That's
childhood. Disney characters.
You were born in the hard streets of
Agrabah.
Agrabah. Talking to sand panthers and stuff.
Yeah, man. My best friend was White Tiger.
Yep.
Easy. Actually, true story. My dog's name is named Raja, but it means prince in Thai. That's why.
Okay.
I'm not. It wasn't actually after the.
Now mOOnGLaDe does have a late third, and he opted for that late third because he wanted to hit some kind of weird roach timing, which is interesting because I feel like it was missed. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't
why
have
get
a lot
that
of
so
roaches.
fast? Why invest so fast in all of those roach upgrades if you're not going to use them? Just
Well, I feel like he wasn't counting on the Stargate play. Like if there's any kind of gateway play, this is a great opening, but that's a weird choice to make on this map specifically.
Yeah, I agree.
Because so many Protoss fast expand and then follow up with Stargate to kind of create the space. So, I don't know. I mean, there's still time. It's no longer considered really a timing, but more just like a tech choice.
Yeah.
The Observer is out, so the detection ability is gone, and now a Colossus being chrono boost. So actually, I don't think there is time. Never mind. I pull that back. Oh, this Queen's in trouble. Queen at the third. She's throwing... she burrows. Nice move. Well played.
She's out of there.
She can duck her head in
out
the
of there.
sand, and you
I
can't
know.
touch me, Phoenix.
No. They can't... I mean, they see a giant
God.
hole in the bottom of the ground. And they're
Can
like,
a Phoenix Graviton beam a detected burrowed unit? Can it rip it from the soil?
I don't know.
A little bit of an altercation here. mOOnGLaDe poking, wanted that cannon dead. He's been thinking about it for a while.
the Colossus.
In fact, this whole army is designed to kill that single photon cannon. And the Colossus does chase off. Love this. Picking up some of those roaches, saving them for lunch, and they go down. Oh, the Colossus! Gotta be careful! It can get run down, and it does get away. Okay. Now, the part of the reason I elevated my voice so tremendously for that moment specifically is that the Colossus, not a big deal when there's one or two of them.
Yeah.
When there's three, okay.
Yeah.
But it gets to 4, 5, 6, that's when it becomes, like we've been saying, that downhill unit, but it never gets there if you lose them for free. So that's one of those early altercations you got to watch for.
Now, do keep in mind, he's getting the 2-2. mOOnGLaDe is getting the fast 2-2. And I expect him to be attacking pretty soon, but he's getting a Spire... Okay, the Spire Tech, never mind, for Corruptors, of course. But I expect him to be attacking soon. This has to have the timing. He purposely got the fast 2-2 for a reason, and I can't see him just sitting back, not having the Hive up, and just saying, okay, I'm going to sit on 2-2 for, you know, for no reason. Just chill out there. I think he needs to make something of it. And maybe he can use this timing to double Expo or something, but I think he has to put this into use a little bit, else it's just like part of his regular tech tree, and he unnecessarily has a small army for no reason.
Well, he does have a surge of roaches coming out, 9 are coming out. He is getting that +1 air attack, so I think it will be Roach Corruptor. I think you're very astute in your proclamation that will be coming out. 2-2 does complete here just momentarily. A 4th being taken for the Zerg player at the 12 o'clock position, away from the Protoss, and we always talk about how we like that move, and I do want to reaffirm that that is a good choice as opposed to expanding towards the Protoss. Meanwhile, these Phoenix just continue to be annoying, killing an Overlord, a couple of drones. Really getting extended use out of these Phoenix. He's not adding any more, which is I think is a great choice and great use. Meanwhile, he is massing up Colossus off the double Robo now, and has added a lot of gateways. He's sitting at equal bases in terms of saturation. Oh! And there's the biggest problem a Protoss has. You can't just expand under the merit of it being an expansion. You actually have to defend it. And nice move by mOOnGLaDe, moving out there to disrupt that. He will lose a couple of roaches, but that's a very much so affordable tax for killing that entire base, or shutting it down at least, just delaying it.
I'll lose 2 out of that. Keep in mind, mOOnGLaDe has great creep spread. But
he does. He's doing really well.
Axslav is approaching the 200-200 mark much faster than mOOnGLaDe, and mOOnGLaDe's still on equal bases to his opponent. No drops, nothing like that. He has a 2-2, whereas, you know, Axslav has a 1-1, so he does have the upgrade advantage. But he's not going to have that for much longer. It's gonna diminish momentarily.
Here we go. This might be the fight. And it's just Roach Corruptor mixing up. Bad angle for the Protoss, or the Zerg player, excuse me. 4-5 Colossus going to work. 1 does go down. Second one being focused down right now. Nice job by mOOnGLaDe to focus down the Colossus. You want to ignore those Phoenix. They're doing like scratch marks on the side of the Corruptor, but unfortunately he's being thrown off from this fight, and that's because I'm really concerned for mOOnGLaDe. It's just death ball versus death ball, and the Protoss player is sitting comfortably at the same economy, if not better, and he's always going to win in that situation. You have to mix things up. There has to be drops going on, Muta Harass, or something, but you can't hope to just mass up. But don't tell mOOnGLaDe that. He's moving in, and he's going to snipe the Colossus. He gets right inside.
Yeah, he's
in a
real
bold
up.
move, but this is the right choice, Creator.
Yeah, he's so far up into position, but still, I think he's going to be okay.
Well, he's thinning out the Colossus count. There goes another one. This last one will perish, and even if the Stalkers clean this up, that was the fight that mOOnGLaDe needed. That really thinned out the Colossus count, and he's got an opportunity now to really start rallying the troops, but unfortunately he's losing some Corruptors for free. Don't like that choice. Corruptors are expensive.
You know, but still, I mean, we've said this time and time again. Trades are beneficial when you're up in economy, and what do we have? Axslav killing mOOnGLaDe's 4th, and he's taking his own. And look how many cannons there are. He has a nice foundation to go back upon, where he can feel super, super safe, and 2 more Colossus are on the way. So he did lose the Corruptors for no reason, and I think mOOnGLaDe, now with the ever so small creep spread.
There's 2 Immortals in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I know. They're just chilling. Dude, they're talking to each other.
Didn't you say to meet at the 18th hole? That's what they're saying right now. They're like, I feel like we've had a joke played on us, and now they're going to just tiptoe out of there like, okay.
Let's
They just discovered they're in really hostile woods. Got to get out of there. And they will scamper back. Axslav, like you said, just kind of falling back on that actually now superior economy, and that's certainly a terrible, terrible place to be in as a Zerg. Still sitting at 2-2 upgrades. In fact, his Hive is complete, but he can barely afford upgrades, let alone an army. Right now, kind of in a tough place. He's trying to squeeze out an additional base. We do see another 4th base attempt going on in the middle of the map. Those Stalkers.
Poor Stalkers.
Hero Stalkers do get destroyed in the middle of the map, intercepted by that Roach Force. But like you said, I mean, right now, Axslav's approaching being maxed again. He is chrono boosting out those Colossus, and it's that economy. He's able to do this. I do want to note, too, with the double Forge, that because mOOnGLaDe did not, or he's not able to keep pace, he's going to be down in upgrades. 3 attack going in, armor already started.
Which shouldn't have ever happened. And now there's another engagement coming on here, but mOOnGLaDe is unprepared. Axslav is at 200, but keep in mind, mOOnGLaDe, as you said before, that was the attack his best chance of attacking,
Yeah.
right? That's the only place he could have done it. Now he has no creep. Look at this creep spread. It's really barren. There's not even connecting creep. So it's going to make it so much harder for him to engage. It's probably going to be a lot less efficient, and still he lost the battle of 4. And with superior upgrades, I think Axslav is in a very comfortable position.
He is. He's just going to max. He's establishing this 5th base so he can have like a stronger economy to fall back on. And he wasn't looking for a fight, but it looks like actually mOOnGLaDe's going to oblige him. And he's, I don't know, this clash in the middle of the match can be pretty anticlimactic. Unfortunately, it's just a terrible, terrible angle against mOOnGLaDe. There are no sentries here, which you would think would be a good thing, but actually what it means is that there's just more stalkers and units, really, that just do damage. Colossus do get picked off. A nice Q from mOOnGLaDe, but unfortunately I feel like he just can't afford to replenish those corruptors, so he wins the fight but loses the battle is what I think is about to happen here.
Yep, Axslav tears through this 4th. He will probably kill the 5th if he spots it, or he can go into the natural. Really, he can do whatever he wants as 4 Immortals are on field, and these things rip apart any form of roach count. And I think we're going to be seeing a very, very short...
there it is.
Yep, there it goes. You know what I was going to say.
I think
he did it before I said it.
And I think the problems for mOOnGLaDe started earlier in that game. He was, you know, we got all excited about the double Roach Warren, and I feel like that timing is really cool on other maps where you think the Protoss is either doing something like 3-gate expand or even some kind of, I don't know, like mid-game timing. But if they do any kind of fast expansion, I don't know what you're aiming for, you know?
Yeah, I thought a lot of mOOnGLaDe's build was very inefficient, just getting the fast 2-2 and then stopping there. He didn't go to Infestor Mount or Infestation Pit and get the Hive to get the 2 upgrades, the 3-3.
Well, he wasn't Hive, he just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, well, no. But, like, after the 2-2 was finished, like, right, have that continuation. Yeah. But when you have that lull, it's like, okay, well, I could have just gotten it later and invested all of my money earlier into something more cost-efficient. Let's say a higher roach count or more drones, something like that. But I just felt like mOOnGLaDe's build felt really off, and it showed. Axslav didn't... I don't think he... No. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't superbly...
As straight up as you can get.
Yeah, it was literally as straight up as you can get. Very straightforward, linear battles, and he was able to take it every single time.
One thing I would like to limelight about Axslav's play that the young Protoss players out there looking to improve can kind of hone in on was one deceiving aspect of that ZVP we just witnessed is that, yes, mOOnGLaDe looked quite inefficient, but you take mOOnGLaDe's build and you give it that 4th base, that 5th base, which he was trying to get up at just about the appropriate times. It looks completely different. Now it's an ocean of roaches coming out. It's replenished corruptors, minimizing the count of those Colossus, and it's a much more competitive game. But Axslav did a fantastic job remaining active with his Phoenix and checking for those bases, so that's why you saw 3 Stalkers in the midst of all that chaos destroying an entire base. And then the other one that mOOnGLaDe took was almost immediately scouted out and responded to yet again by Axslav. So same game, plus a couple bases for the Zerg, and we're talking a different song here, I feel. I think Axslav would be in a lot more trouble, and the things like 3-3 upgrades, Infestors, or Ultras, or whatever, could be afforded to mOOnGLaDe, and it makes it for a different game. So kudos to Axslav for coming out on top there against a fearsome opponent in FXO mOOnGLaDe. We're going to move on to game number 2. It will be on Crossfire, and we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out in just a moment. Good day, mate. There's the countdown, and we do have for FXO mOOnGLaDe here versus EG Axslav.
Yes.
That's pretty good, right?
That was okay.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Fantastic.
You were trying to do what, a Norwegian accent?
Sometimes retort what you say cuts so deep.
You mad, LOL?
Cuts so deep, like a Bowie knife.
A Bowie knife.
What's it called? It's not Bowie. Bowie.
Bowie.
A Bowie knife.
I know. When I think Bowie, I actually think back to my sailing days when I was a sailor. I used to be a sailor. Did you know that? I had told you that before, right?
It makes all the innuendos so much more sensical to know that you used to be a sailor.
I wasn't a European sailor.
Did you have a lot of seamen with you?
Yeah.
On the high seas?
Largest poop deck possible.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And were they long and hard days?
Sometimes it was really short. I wasn't feeling it.
Thick
you get
hours.
really, you get. Sorry.
Thick hours.
It could be. I mean, it just depends on the day, really, and sometimes the weather is bad and you just don't feel like doing it.
Get all sweaty.
Sometimes when it's really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So, FXO mOOnGLaDe looking to redeem himself in the purple trunks. Top right-hand corner. In the lower left-hand corner, we do have the red Protoss Evil Genius's Monster Axslav. Axslav, interesting character. A lot of people have been like, what does that name mean, Axslav? And here's the story he gives on it. And I find this to be quite inefficient, by the way. He says it's something his high school wrestling coach used to say.
what?
And I guess he was like an Eastern European immigrant. But he used to say Axslav. It means something somewhere. So Axslav chose that name. That's it. Consequently, I think it's kind of a cool word. It sounds cool in English, but it was something his high school teacher used to say. Now, of course,
To him?
I think so.
Did
I
he call
considered
him
using
Axslav?
things my high school coach used to say to me, but I didn't want to have my name bleeped
Too
out all the
derogatory?
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't have the same effect. Meanwhile, this probe starting its task, initiating the war early.
Yeah.
There was a peaceful spawning between these two races. Everything was fine. This probe disrupted that.
Well, if you look, you already got a good, like, 5% off of that hatchery.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll show you guys how to do that.
So, in the event that he does rush, he's going to be really set, taking out that hatchery.
Well, if mOOnGLaDe forgets about it,
Yeah.
and
Forgets about the probe?
yeah,
Yeah,
just
I know.
kills the hatchery. That's a death blow, man.
That's a huge disadvantage. And
It's a big one.
it could potentially happen. It could potentially happen.
It is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
If like a kangaroo were to kick into the window of mOOnGLaDe and
Dude, you got a lot of
Start a wall for the
Australian.
ruckus.
Got a lot of Australian in you today.
I do.
A lot of
It's a
Australian.
beautiful country. I will say this. I can hands down say that Australians are the nicest people I've ever interacted with. I'm not even, like, I feel ashamed to admit that because I feel like I'm letting a lot of other people down, but I'm sorry, it's true. Every Australian that I coach, they make me want to go to their land because they sound so damn friendly and just
Now,
unrelentingly calm about everything.
are you saying this? Yeah, I don't know what that was. Are you saying this because mOOnGLaDe's Australian? Are you trying to get on his good side after?
No, I'm giving him some cultural background.
Oh, giving him
It's
cultural.
cool.
All right.
No, not him, Greetswarp. The people that are watching.
Oh, people watching. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll explain to you what's going on after this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you always give me these talks afterwards. I feel like
Keep
they
you
really
up to
help.
speed on the reality of the world.
Stargate going down for Axslav, actually.
Yeah, this is just... Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
And this is cool. This is something Protoss players have been doing a little bit more of. We've seen Ace do it. He kind of popularized it at IEM. Or no, excuse me. It was Assembly. No, that's the one the Europeans won. It was IEM.
You're so stupid.
And he did this to defeat Idra. And essentially, you can just get out enough Phoenix
Yeah.
that it A, disrupts the build of the Zerg, but B, if you hide the tech... So it's kind of interesting, the two different choices. I feel like Axslav is going to send the first couple towards the Zerg base, because that just tends to be his tendency. I like to hide them. If you show up with 5 Phoenix and they have no idea, they're in a world of pain.
Yeah. And I like what he
That's a
did with
void
this one pylon. It actually makes it look like, hey, he's going to expand.
He is.
So if mOOnGLaDe doesn't... Ooh.
He will expand.
Run away, run away, run away.
It's the sentry count that gives it away. Like right now, okay, the expansion's quite bold,
Yeah.
but a Zerg looks at that and says, okay, why the heck do you only have 1 sentry?
Yeah. Of course.
And let's see if we're getting any kind of reaction out of mOOnGLaDe. Not yet, actually. No additional queens. Well, okay,
Blade's
one
getting
is
in
coming
here.
out.
He's going to see it. Axslav doesn't do anything about this. Yeah, it's going to see it. Void Ray, hello.
And it should be Phoenix after that. Yep, there are Phoenix being added on here.
Overlord won't be here for much longer.
And this is quite poignant, or powerful, rather. I guess that's the better word here. I like what mOOnGLaDe's doing. There should be low gateway count for the Protoss players, so he's hoping to disrupt this expansion with some Zerglings.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I feel like they're just going to cancel out the cannon. He's got to be careful here. Oh, mOOnGLaDe.
Oh, actually, Axslav keeps it.
Being met by resistance here. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
And the cannon does survive. That's brutal.
That's a hero cannon. But more
And more
Zerglings on the
Zerglings
way.
coming. That's quite ineffective, though. He really need that cannon to go down.
Yeah.
And then Zergling reinforcements could overrun a couple sentries and a Zealot. But as is, with the cannon still standing, it's just too much DPS for the Zerglings to count on, I feel.
Yeah, I would like a gateway actually in front of there, but it does look the Ganon will be sniped off right now. And Axslav doesn't have enough units in the back here.
No, the cannons are warping in right now.
Be careful. Yeah, oh yeah, that'll help him.
Oh, but the sentries, and if he loses both sentries, it's quite a big loss. One does go down, and the second one will survive again. Or no, did he lose another sentry?
No, he only lost one.
Only lost one?
Yep.
Meanwhile, Void Ray going to work on the back of that Zerg base. There is 2 queens in the area yet to react. Spore Crawler is going down. There we go, a bit of a reaction. Just one Overlord does die. Not a huge loss for mOOnGLaDe, but the big story here. Okay, actually, I like this reaction. A very fast Hydra Den, foregoing the Roach tech, and that's actually the appropriate response, I feel, in these circumstances. Again, this is a 1v1 map, so the distance between the 2 bases is relatively short. Now, the danger he's going to run into is there's a lot of ramps, so sentries can delay those Hydras tremendously. So if he's going to try to do like a Hydra bust, he's got to be clever about it.
By Overlord. And now, I feel like there could be an engagement with these queens if he picks up all 3 of them, but it's a little dicey. A little bit dicey. But I would like to see Axslav take out one of those queens. It would be very beneficial to him. Either with the creep spread or with, Oh, wow.
Oh!
That is a really big pick.
That sucks. And there's the queen.
You go.
Great Torp, ask and ye shall receive. Goes down relatively quickly. It is now 4 Phoenix and the Void Ray against this. And with that queen going down, I feel like they lose their kind of... Well, okay, there's a lot of Hydras coming out, so this is just momentary.
Yeah.
And there's the second one. Up. Hydras to the rescue. Nope, they're not going to come out in time.
They're not going to come up in time. And, you know, with this Hydra and them being dissected this early, he could potentially pick him up. No! The Void Ray will be picked!
They came out just in time.
Wow.
They do get the Void Ray, which actually is not that big of a deal. It does take away a lot of the aggressive ability of this Air Force, if you will. But it was not going to be a staunch part of the defense back at home. So the nice thing about this for Axslav is he knows, okay, Hydras are out, and he does have Overlord speed. Put 2 and 2 together, that means some kind of Hydra creep highway push.
Yeah.
And we can see that he is building... Nope, actually not a whole lot of activity back at his base.
One Phoenix does die, yeah.
That's good. That's what mOOnGLaDe wants. Phoenix are actually quite strong at killing Hydras, quite frankly. Oh, no! Another gets picked
Axslav.
Axslav.
You silly son of a bee.
Yeah,
I love this.
Sloppy.
He's putting a creep highway now, and he will be able to get to his opponent's base very fast. Now, keep in mind, Hydras are not good off creep. They are super, super slow.
Yeah.
They get such a reduction in speed.
It's the friction. Their tails are quite smooth, so on slick surfaces they move very, very well.
Oh, that makes sense.
But the smooth tails on the rough ground of these planets is very... You wouldn't believe the amount of lotion they have to apply after each battle just to get through the day. The life of a Hydraless, quite difficult.
You know what? Sometimes, Jeff, you just make sense, man. You just make so much sense.
Well, I appreciate that. These Hydras are pushing forward, and look at that, Axslav losing some more units. Again, he's doing whatever he can to delay here. His tech has not yet taken shape. Colossus being chrono boosted only now, but Colossus build actually fairly fast when when being chrono boosted continuously. Meanwhile, these Phoenix doing everything they can to be annoying. Hydra's just kind of sharking around the middle of the map. Axslav, got to be careful.
Phoenix
might lose another Phoenix or 2.
These Hydras are super fast.
And I like this. Actually, I feel like if he would have, he being mOOnGLaDe, tried for the timing, he wouldn't have got there, and it would have been a fast, silly GG. But he's pulling back. He's sitting on 3 bases. Axslav does not even have his 3rd base started yet. And he's adding the Roach Warren with upgrades as well as the Spire, and that's great. You don't want to be Hydras for too long. Hydras are pretty much only good against those Stargate units and then kind of the Gateway units.
Yeah. I mean, they give you that just girth in the beginning phase, you know? They can defend against everything, I feel.
Yeah.
Just because their DPS and their speed on creep, they can get into areas. Once you get the groove spines, it's really nice as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But going towards that mid-game, when Colossus come out, you're like, I don't know if I want to stay on this for too much longer.
Correct. Oh, that was greedy. Tried to pick off a drone, and I think he didn't even get it. No, he did not.
Oh, no. Phoenix, move out of the way. Axslav,
it's just down to the one Phoenix, so now it's just like a scout. Just a glorified scout that has the option to bench press units and then put them back down on the earth for 0 damage. Now, mOOnGLaDe can eat such fantastic creep spread. That's one thing he's doing very, very well. Where he can't do it with tumors, he's doing it with overlords, and that attention to detail is tremendously useful. Corruptors are coming out onto the field. No upgrade for them. Actually, a lack of upgrades all around for mOOnGLaDe. If you check that evolution chamber, he is actually just now getting his +2 range attack, whereas with the game before he would be on 2-2 by now. He was very upgrade-centric. This game, not so much. Axslav setting up on that left side of the base for the...
I like that. I like that a lot. We haven't seen that much from any of the players in here. Now hold that thought, because Hydras are caught out of position. It looks like some of these units... Ooh, Corruptor's getting in here, saying, hey, get the heck back. Colossus, we don't want you around here. You're not welcomed.
And Axslav made the right call there. He was actually... He's one of the Protoss that would love to do like a 2 Colossus timing, which is really irregular. That's not the standard timing for Protoss. Zergs usually feel like they have more time, and that's why it's kind of a soft timing. It's good for the Protoss. But if they've already made Corruptors like mOOnGLaDe has, you can't do that timing. Absolutely not. Because you will lose 2 Colossus in rapid succession, and then the swarm of Zerg units will overcome the gateway units. So Axslav pulled back there brilliantly, knowing kind of how to play to this situation. He's just going to establish his third and then progress from there. Now mOOnGLaDe does not want to be on equal basis with this Protoss player, and I'm not seeing him even move to take a 4th, so I gotta imagine there's some kind of timing shaping up here.
And I'm kind of actually scared for mOOnGLaDe, because now that Axslav has this left-hand side position, you know, his pushes are going to be much faster. All of the direction of this game is going to be forced on the left-hand side. That's the only way, unless mOOnGLaDe wants to go on the right side, in which he might be able to see.
He's got to be careful. He's
Axslav
doing it here.
Might be able to see. Ooh,
he's got to get the
engagement's coming in. I don't like this engagement.
No.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot of units that are being destroyed. And whoa, the Corruptors are attacking the hallucinated Colossus.
And now the Colossus,
it doesn't matter.
Excuse me, the Corruptors being focused down. The remaining force of mOOnGLaDe getting picked apart. And Axslav executing the perfect defense with those corruptions. There's the GG. Wow. I mean, Axslav made that look easy because he played so smart. There was nothing that was like, oh, wow, that was so amazing. It was all pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And he played within his own boundaries. He said, okay, I was going to hit that timing. I can't do it. Fine, I'll pull back, sit on 3 bases. I know I'm on equal bases with the Zerg, which means I don't have to attack. Now, conversely, mOOnGLaDe looked at that situation and said, I know I'm equal base with the Protoss, which means I have to attack. And he had to go off that creep. Axslav executing the perfect severance of the army, and with the hallucination, it was too much.
Now, let's talk a little bit about going into that position. How did Axslav actually get there? Well, it came down to his gas. He had so much gas, and why is that? It's because he actually used the Phoenixes in the beginning stage and the Void Ray to double gas his expansion super early. He got 4 gas much faster than his opponent, the Zerg. And that's not a position you want to be in when you're the Zerg player. You always, well, for the most part, you want to be getting your gas before your opponent, unless you're doing some weird timing. But you want to get your 4 gas before your opponent, just to drive that raw material, or to get your 3rd up before, you know, the person can ever think about getting their 3rd up. But it just felt like mOOnGLaDe never had the timing, and with Axslav's huge tech, his Sentry count, his Colossus, they didn't feel super early normally, but in the relative game, that game individually, how it started up, the one base type of play, I think Axslav really showed how good he is and how strong his aggression is and how he's able to manage himself.
I agree with that, and hopefully people are paying attention to that. It's not us just like biding time after the match. It's actually really important that people recognize that, okay, Axslav did not do anything in particular flashy or amazing. What he did do is play within kind of the confines of what's understood in PvZ at this time, made the right choice at every turn, and was rewarded for that. And it was not some ingenious, like, creative play decision that he made on the fly. It was all understood tenets of this matchup, and he just adhered to them, and they worked out. So, unfortunately for mOOnGLaDe, he will fall to 0-3 in this group. And I gotta stress, in the first 2 weeks, you heard us making a lot of excuses like, oh, it's the first 2 weeks, man. He can recover. It's fine. You know, oh, you don't want to lose any. But now, week 3, I think we can call this almost like the tipping point week. I really feel like the contenders for the top 2 spots in each of these divisions will be starting to take shape in this week. Moving forward, do we think FXO mOOnGLaDe is a threat to win the group? I don't know. I think at this point in time, it would be a miracle for him to climb his way back up. Now, what he still can do is save face. If you go 6-3 in one of these divisions, that's very respectable. If you go 5-4, okay, that's not bad. But he's got to do it.
Yeah.
mOOnGLaDe's considered one of the heroes from Australia in the C server entirely. He's got to be considered one of the favorite non-Korean Zergs in all the world. Well, I just a little bit redundant there, but he's got some work ahead of him. He's 0-3 in the group. Axslav climbing back at 1-2. He can make a difference.